You know what's worse than being followed? Being ignored when you try to speak up about it. I didn't think I'd need to carry pepper spray to Creative Writing 101. I didn't think my own roommate would call me dramatic. But when a guy with no classes in common started showing up everywhere I went, I knew something was wrong. They called me paranoid, a drama queen. But they stopped laughing when I turned the camera on him. This is the story of how I exposed my campus stalker, lost some so-called friends, and found out just how deep this rabbit hole went. Like, sure, subscribe. Because if I didn't have proof, no one would have believed me. It started on a Monday. You know how professors always say the semester starts slow? That was a lie. Creative Writing 101 was already a madhouse. People scrambling for seats, juggling venti lattes and busted MacBooks. I was early, always am. I like the third row from the back left-hand side. Good view of the board, easy access to the door. That's when I saw him, standing just outside the door, leaning against the wall. Not doing anything weird exactly, just staring. At nothing. Or maybe at everything. He wasn't in the class. I would have remembered that face. Sharp jawline, messy brown hair, hoodie with no logo. Generic yet somehow unsettling. Class ended. I packed up, chatting with a girl I barely knew about how overpriced the syllabus books were. When I walked out, he was gone. Didn't think much of it. That night, I mentioned him to my roommate Jess while brushing my teeth. So, this guy was standing outside my lecture room today. Didn't go in. Just stood there the whole hour. Weird, right? Jess, who was scrolling TikTok in her sports bra, barely looked up. Maybe he was waiting for a friend. Or his class is in the room after yours. I nodded. Maybe. Campus is busy. People linger. Maybe he was waiting for someone. But then I saw him again. Tuesday. I was headed to the campus cafe between classes. I love the matcha lattes there and I needed caffeine like a fish needs water. As I approached the cafe, I saw him. Same hoodie. Same blank stare. This time standing in line. But he didn't order anything. Just stood there. Then he walked out. I froze. My gut felt weird. Not sick, not scared. Just tight. I messaged Maya. Lila, that guy is here again. Not joking. Hey. Just left without ordering. Same one I told Jess about. She replied fast. Maya, you sure it's him? Maybe you have a secret admirer. Lila. I'm not laughing. When I got back to the dorm, Jess was lounging on our futon with a pint of ice cream and her anthropology notes. I told her again. You're reading too much into this, she said, scooping another bite. It's a small campus. People cross paths. Doesn't mean he's stalking you. But by Friday I'd seen him 5 times. And we had 0 classes in common. I started writing it down. Literally. Dates, times, locations. Library. Dorm parking lot. Gym hallway. Always just standing. Always just there. On Wednesday he walked behind me from the student union to my lecture hall. I kept stopping, pretending to tie my shoe, check my phone. He stopped too. Like he wasn't in a rush to go anywhere. That night, I pulled out an old notebook and started logging. September 12th. Saw him by Langston Hall. 10:12 a.m. September 13th. Followed me from Union to Langston Hall September 14th. Outside dorm. Leaning against bike rack. 8:45 p.m. Maya was concerned. Okay, I believe you now. That's not just coincidence. That's calculated. But Jess said, maybe he just thinks you're cute. You don't know he's following you. You're assuming. I wanted to scream. Was I crazy? Was I making it up? But deep down I knew I wasn't. And if no one believed me, I'd have to prove it myself. By the time Monday rolled around, I was done being subtle. I saw him again sitting on a bench by the quad where I usually ate lunch. I walked up, heart thudding. Why are you following me? He blinked. Confused. Or pretending to be. I'm sorry. I've seen you around campus. A lot. You show up everywhere I go. Why? A small crowd started to form. A few students looked over their laptops. A couple guys snorted. I don't know what you're talking about, he said calmly, holding his hands up. I don't even know your name. My face burned. Just happened to be walking by and pulled me aside. What are you doing? You look crazy. The guy got up and walked away slowly like he was the victim. By the afternoon, I was in the dean's office. Someone had reported me. The dean gave me a polite, practiced smile. We understand your concerns, Miss Monroe. but without solid evidence accusing another student publicly, it could be seen as harassment. I laughed. Out loud. So, I have to wait until he does something to me? She looked uncomfortable. We encourage you to use the campus counseling resources and report anything threatening. But be cautious. Cautious? I was being hunted like a deer and they wanted me to be cautious? That night, I stormed into Maya's dorm room. I'm getting proof. Real proof. She raised an eyebrow. How? A GoPro. Or one of those button cameras. I don't care. I'm going to film him. Maya clapped. Finally. Girl, help. Let's borrow from the film tech lab. I know a guy. 2 days later, I had a tiny wearable cam stitched into the hem of my hoodie. I walked my usual routes. To the quad. The library. The gym hallway. I didn't even look back. At night, we went through the footage frame by frame. And there he was. In the background. Always just a few steps behind. We need to post this, Maya said, eyes wide. This is gold. We can't use his name, I whispered. And I needed to stay anonymous. I still live here. She edited a 2-minute clip, a highlight reel of all the moments he appeared. Set to eerie music. No faces, just shadows, movements, and repetition. We posted it on the campus subreddit under a burner account. Title, Anyone else seen this guy around campus a lot? Within 24 hours, over 600 upvotes. Some people called me a genius. Others said I was paranoid. One said, looks like you're the one stalking him. Jess didn't say anything. She just closed her laptop and walked out of the room. But I was just getting started. The video didn't stay anonymous for long. 3 days after we posted it, I got a summons from the student conduct office. That word alone made my skin crawl. The woman behind the desk had the expression of someone who'd rather be talking about recycling violations. Lila, she said carefully, while we understand your concerns, publicly sharing video of another student, even without names, is a serious breach of privacy and could be considered defamation. So what am I supposed to do? I snapped. Wait until he follows me into my room? We're monitoring the situation, she said. We're asking that you refrain from distributing or posting any more videos. This is a formal warning. I walked out stunned. My hands were shaking. Back in my dorm, I slammed the door and fell into my bed face first. I didn't go to class. I didn't answer Maya's texts. Jess didn't speak to me at all. It was like she was scared she'd get in trouble just for knowing me. 2 days later, I called my mom. Maybe you should come home for a while, she said gently. My dad chimed in from the background. You've been through a lot, Lila. Sometimes walking away is the brave thing. No, not this time. I wasn't going anywhere. That weekend we had a family Zoom call for my sister's birthday. I tried to keep the vibe light. But then someone brought up the video. Why would you put something like that online? My sister Emily snapped. You always blow things out of proportion. I felt like someone had slapped me. I didn't want to post it, I said through clenched teeth. But no one was listening to me. Not admin. Not even my roommate. My mom tried to soothe the tension. We're just worried. This could affect your record, your future. You know what affects my future? I said, getting followed by someone who knows where I live. That shut everyone up. After the call, Maya FaceTimed me. You still want to catch him red-handed? Because I have an idea. Maya threw parties often. She knew how to make them look casual but intentional. This time we planned it like a sting operation. We invited everyone, even Jess. Especially Jess. And yes, him. Maya had noticed him hanging near her bio class and figured out his name from a group project roster. Logan. We spread the word that it was a dorm mixer. Maya's cousin helped us rig up 2 hidden cameras in the living room and hallway. One in a potted plant. Another in the bookshelf. I dressed like it was just another night. Casual. No hoodie. No camera. And sure enough, Logan came. He didn't talk to me. Just hovered. Always within view. About 40 minutes in, I left my phone charging in Maya's room and pretended to step outside for air. He waited 3 minutes. Then walked straight into Maya's room. We watched the footage later. He looked through my backpack. Opened the desk drawer. Stared at my laptop screensaver like it owed him something. When Maya and I busted into the room, he jumped. Said he was looking for the bathroom. You walked past 2 on your way here, Maya said coldly. He left without another word. We had what we needed now. We stayed up until 3 a.m. editing the footage. It was simple, no narration, no frills. Just clips of him following me. The coffee shop. The quad. Then the final scene. Logan walking into Maya's room uninvited and digging through my backpack. We added timestamps. Campus landmarks. A closing frame with bold white letters. Would you still call this a coincidence? Then we uploaded it. Not to Reddit this time. Not anonymously. This time Maya shared it on her personal TikTok with a voiceover. My friend's been stalked for weeks. We told admin. They ignored her. So here's the truth. Watch till the end. By sunrise, the video had over 200,000 views. By noon it was on Twitter. Then Instagram Reels. Then student forums. It wasn't just our campus anymore. People across the country were commenting. This is terrifying. I believe her. Why is no one doing anything? I finally felt seen. By that evening, the dean of students called me personally. We'd like to meet with you again, Ms. Monroe. Urgently. This time they weren't calm. They weren't rehearsed. They were scared. We're launching an investigation, the dean said. We're placing the student in question on emergency suspension pending the outcome. Suspension? I asked. He walked into a girl's room uninvited. The dean hesitated. Technically, we can't confirm he's even enrolled. What? Turns out Logan wasn't just creepy. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He had been expelled the previous year for a similar harassment incident. But he never left. He kept his student ID badge. Memorized campus entry codes. Slept on couches in the music building and used fake class registrations to blend in. Even joined group projects pretending to be active. Nobody checked. Nobody noticed. Until I made them. When the story broke on local news, the university went into damage control mode. They beefed up security, did a sweep of fake credentials and held mandatory safety workshops. But it took me risking everything to get them to act. By the next morning, my phone had melted with notifications. My video had exploded. News outlets picked it up. Twitter, Reddit, TikTok. Everywhere. Headlines screamed, "Student exposes stalker with hidden camera," and "Campus security fails victim of harassment." By noon, the dean called an emergency press conference. And by evening, Logan was arrested. Not just for harassment, but for impersonating a student, trespassing, and several counts of stalking across 2 campuses. Apparently, mine wasn't the first case. He had a pattern. And finally, it caught up with him. I got an official apology from the university president. A formal investigation was launched into why my concerns were dismissed. 2 staff members were placed on temporary leave, including the counselor who told me to stop overthinking. I met with a legal advisor provided by a local advocacy group. I wasn't planning to sue, but I wanted my voice to be louder than my fear. The campus changed after that. Security tightened. Women spoke out. Posters about harassment policies popped up overnight. I even got a quiet offer from a documentary producer. They wanted to tell my story. My mom called me in tears. She had watched my interview on national TV. For the first time, she really saw me. Not as dramatic, not as difficult, but as brave. "I'm sorry I didn't believe you," she said. "You were right to fight back." Dad didn't say much, but he sent me a photo of his office. My story printed out and pinned above his desk. That was enough. Maya and I had a small victory dinner. She raised a glass of sparkling cider and toasted, "To following creeps." With cameras. We both burst into laughter. The fear hadn't gone away completely. But for the first time it didn't own me anymore. By the next morning, my phone had melted with notifications. My video had exploded. News outlets picked it up. Twitter, Reddit, TikTok. Everywhere. Headlines screamed, "Student exposes stalker with hidden camera," and "Campus security fails victim of harassment." By noon, the dean called an emergency press conference. And by evening, Logan was arrested. Not just for harassment, but for impersonating a student, trespassing, and several counts of stalking across 2 campuses. Apparently, mine wasn't the first case. He had a pattern. And finally, it caught up with him. I got an official apology from the university president. A formal investigation was launched into why my concerns were dismissed. 2 staff members were placed on temporary leave, including the counselor who told me to stop overthinking. I met with a legal advisor provided by a local advocacy group. I wasn't planning to sue, but I wanted my voice to be louder than my fear. The campus changed after that. Security tightened. Women spoke out. Posters about harassment policies popped up overnight. I even got a quiet offer from a documentary producer. They wanted to tell my story. My mom called me in tears. She had watched my interview on national TV. For the first time, she really saw me, not as dramatic, not as difficult, but as brave. "I'm sorry I didn't believe you," she said. "You were right to fight back." Dad didn't say much, but he sent me a photo of his office. My story printed out and pinned above his desk. That was enough. Maya and I had a small victory dinner. She raised a glass of sparkling cider and toasted, "To following creeps," with cameras. We both burst into laughter. The fear hadn't gone away completely, but for the first time it didn't own me anymore. Logan's trial came quicker than anyone expected. Thanks to the viral video and multiple victims testifying, the prosecution had a mountain of evidence. I sat in the front row every day, not because I needed to, but because I wanted him to see me not afraid, not backing down. He pled guilty to all charges. He was sentenced to 5 years. The courtroom clapped. I didn't. I just closed my eyes and breathed. Justice didn't erase what he did, but it gave me a clean page. After everything, Maya and I moved into a new apartment off campus. Just the two of us. No creepy shadows. No paranoia. We decorated it with disco balls, weird cat paintings, and glow-in-the-dark stars. It was silly, and it was safe. I got a part-time job at the Women's Center on campus, helping other students who were afraid, listening to them, believing them. One night, Maya looked at me and said, "You know you changed this campus, right?" I smiled. We changed it. The documentary came out 6 months later. It was raw, emotional, and honest. It didn't just show what Logan did. It showed how silence protects predators, and how speaking up can change systems. People messaged me from around the country. Some said I was brave. Some said they wished they had a Maya. Some just said, "Thank you." And now, every time I see someone walking too close behind me, I don't freeze. I turn around. I stare. I speak. Because I learned something powerful. Fear grows in silence, and so does strife. It was a crisp autumn morning when the jury returned. I sat sandwiched between Maya and my attorney. My palms were clammy, my heart thudding like a drum. Logan sat motionless, flanked by his own legal team. Guilty. On all major charges. Stalking, impersonation, illegal surveillance, and harassment. The judge sentenced him to 4 years in prison with mandatory psychiatric evaluation and no-contact orders for all his victims, including me. There was no cheering, just relief. Deep, silent, aching relief. I got an email from a freshman, a girl in my old dorm. She wrote, "I saw your video. I showed it to my RA when someone made me uncomfortable. They took me seriously. Thank you. That made it all worth it." I'd started an on-campus program called Lens and Voice, combining self-defense, storytelling, and media tools for young women. Maya and I co-hosted workshops. Even some professors joined in. And every time a girl raised her phone to record, not out of fear but out of courage, I knew we'd changed something. I still have that little spy cam. It's tucked in a box under my bed, next to my old journals and freshman year lanyard. Not because I need it anymore, but because it reminds me that the moment I stopped running, the moment I turned around and hit record, was the moment I stopped being a victim. My story wasn't about Logan. It was about me finding my voice, one terrifying frame at a time. And if you're watching this, yes, you, wondering if anyone will believe you, if you should speak up, if it's worth it, the answer is yes. Because silence protects no one. And your voice, shaky or not, is still power. Like, share, and subscribe if this story moved you. You never know who needs to hear it.